DeathsStalker here. So today I thought I'd talk about some of the motorcycle shops and dealers that I've had to deal with over the years. Now in these days, you guys actually have it pretty lucky. If you want to find out a particular dealer is any good, or if they suck, or if they have a great mechanic, you know, you can Google it, and chances are someone's probably posted something about them. So you actually have a lot of information on the internet, and I recommend you using it. But back in the pre-Al Gore internet days, with us it was word of mouth and personal experience. And what generally would happen is you go in, deal with this shop, and you got to see exactly how it worked. Like for example, the first bike I ever bought was this bike shop way out in the boonies. It's not there anymore, it's long closed, and they had awesome deals for motorcycles. So if you wanted to buy a bike, they had great deals, and the mechanic they had was really good too, but they only actually had one mechanic. So if two people brought their bikes in to get fixed, one guy got their bike fixed and the other guy had to leave it and hopefully get it done later that week, which, you know, you think about it, you want to ride a bike, that kind of sucks. So although I ended up buying two bikes from that particular dealership, I stopped actually going there for service just because of the Russian roulette thing about whether or not you were going to get any if the service guy was available. Like, no matter how good he is, he's one person. Now another shop I dealt with, I bought my first Cowie from. It was an awesome shop, and it was it had a really good mechanic and a couple good apprentices, and it wasn't that far from where I lived. It was about a 25-minute drive. Now the problem was the owner, he was a nice guy, but man, he was a whiner. It was like, oh, everyone's stealing my business, oh, this, like, it was like a walking, talking version of Ehore, if you've ever dealt with Winnie the Pooh. Like, everything was all doom and gloom to him. You know, he was like, I make more money selling lawnmowers and motorcycles and all that sort of stuff. And apparently the guy had been in business for like 30-something years at that time. Now, eventually what happened was, I think he retired and sold the business, because I think there's a car dealership where the bike shop used to be. And the mechanic he had, the service guy, was just absolutely brilliant. And although he was a fairly young guy, he was, at the time when I was going there, he was probably in his mid-20s. He was really big into the old British bikes. So if you wanted to get a Triumph fixed, or a BSA, or anything along that line, like, he was the guy to see, because he could fix it all. And actually, he has a bike shop now. It's actually about 10 minutes from where I live, and that's all he does, is he fixes and restores old British bikes. And you walk into his shop, it's like walking into a bike shop in the 30s. It's got all these old great bikes. There's tons of grease and oil on the floor, and, you know, like, he's a great guy. He's you know, he's probably in his late 60s now, but like, he is still the guy to go to for British bikes. Now after that, I basically was racing. So the shop I dealt with was basically a race shop. They didn't sell motorcycles. They sold some accessories, but basically everything their focus was racing. And as far as racing goes, it was, you know, the ultimate motorcycle place to go, because they would get all the exotic stuff that the other, if you went to a dealer and say, hey, I need a set of Brembo brakes, and they'd look at you like, oh, what Brembo brakes? You know, these guys, you know, they had at the time there wasn't, you know, like connections like there are nowadays, but they could get Brembos or Lockheed or Spondon brakes and custom exhaust systems, you know, pretty much everything you wanted to get. And they were just awesome to deal with. They also service bikes. So a lot of guys would bring their sport bikes in. They also customized bikes. They took a 1986 RG500 and had it all customized up with paint and bodywork and whatnot, so it actually looked like Kevin Schwantz's Pepsi Suzuki GP bike. So it was kind of cool. Now when I stopped racing, I used to go there occasionally, but not as much, simply because they were a little bit out of the way from where I lived, because I'd moved after that. So I I was I'd go there when I wanted to go there for a specific reason, but it's not like the old days when I used to just drop in for a visit. Now, after that, I just started dealing with, the regular bike shops. This particular bike here, I actually had to drive all the way out to Whitby to pick it up, and thought it was used, and had to drive it home in the pouring rain with brand new tires. But that's another story. And that shop was actually pretty good, and they're a massively large bike shop that sells accessories. Actually I bought the gloves off them and a helmet, like at the bike show every year. And other than that, I've been dealing with like the few local shops we have left. Like we had a big purge. Like when I was first started here, we had about 10 or 15 various motorcycle shops. Like we had probably like 5 Honda dealerships, all within about 20 minutes of each other. And now we have 3 within about 35 minutes of each other. And generally I deal with the one that is it's got a better reputation. There's a couple of them. One's it's like a powerhouse Honda. It's like one of those big factory Honda things. And I don't know. You walk to those shops and the vibe doesn't feel right. So I'm not going to hang out here. And the other shop I've actually had issues with over the years, and when they were the only game in town, they had a real attitude, and I don't really go there anymore. I have a few people that I know go there occasionally, but I can't be bothered, and the parking sucks. So there's a shop in Burlington now that I do all my motorcycle stuff purchases with, for things that I don't buy off the internet. So, but it's so much easier nowadays where you can go on on Google or Yelp or whatever. You can find out if these guys are any good or not, if they have good mechanics and whatnot. You guys got it good. And like I say, I strongly recommend you checking it out. See if you can, before you decide to go plop down several $1,000s of your hard-earned money on something, make sure the person you're buying it from isn't, a jerk or a crook or or just a very unnice person, which is the polite way of saying something with a letter A. Then I'm just going to end it with something that you get in the ground with a shovel. So anyways, hope you found that kind of interesting. Looks like I'm running ahead of the rain here, so I am going home. So DeathsStalker signing out.